All right. Well, happy Sunday evening to everybody. Well, at least it's evening where I'm at. So I'm here on the East Coast and wrapping up another weekend, getting ready for another wonderful week where we can go ahead and just hit it and follow our PhD and live a good quality life. So tonight we're just going to field any questions that you guys might have about a ketogenic diet. What does that mean? How do you get started? How do you re-engage if you've been on maybe a hiatus for a little while? So just be sure and drop your questions in the comments, in the chat rather, not the comments. Drop them in the chat and we'll address them. And one thing, I want to give just a couple more seconds for folks to chime in, to log in. But one of the things that I was talking with a person earlier this week, talking with a client, and it just dawned on me that people are asking a lot of how-to questions, and they're getting into a lot of the nitty-gritty. And I think people are starting to the keto space right now, the keto carnivore space is getting very, very noisy, and probably noisier by the day. And that's why I want to do things like this to help, number one, get you your attitude set for the coming week, uh, in all areas, not just diet, but in everything. But also learn how to see the context of everything. A lot of people they can't see the forest for the trees because they're hearing all this stuff, and some of it's good, some of it's not. Let's just take all the good quality information, but let's examine it and look at the context of it. Is what you're listening to, is it right for you? Is the person that you're listening to, whether it's a doctor, a healthcare professional, an influencer, whoever it is it is the information they're giving, is that for you? Meaning, yeah, I am a male. I am 50 years old, 50 years young, and I am 5'11". I weigh about 207 pounds currently, and I've been on a ketogenic diet for about 3.5 years now. And I had certain medical conditions that I've overcome. So that's kind of my story encapsulated. Does that fit you? Or does maybe earlier in my journey match up with where you are now? And does that mean that you take where I'm at now? Do you apply where I'm at now into your life, your realm? And a lot of people will tend to take things simply at face value and not examine the context and see, does that fit for me? It might be accurate, but does that puzzle piece fit my puzzle for where I am right now? So context is king in the world of your health. And so that's one thing that has kind of, it's one of the where you know something, but it takes a situation or a few, and you're like, I'm seeing a pattern here. Oh yeah, I knew that, and a nice little refresher course. So anyway, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that how do you feel about the context? Are things getting noisier out there in the keto space here lately, or do you think it's just carte blanche, just take whatever and it'll be what it'll be? What do you guys think? I'm going to cough. Pardon me, I had to cough. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of different things you can look at, and you just have to wonder, do they apply to you? Here's an example. I need to get more fat in my diet. I hear that quite a bit. Um, you maybe you do need to have more fat in your diet. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know where you've come from and where you're going to. And this is where I can make connect some dots with the music world. When you are learning a piece of music, you've got maybe you got it written out, and people will always want to know, well, what notes can you use over time in improvisation, whether it's rock, jazz, whatever. If you've got these chords, and well, what notes can I play over that chord? That's an incomplete question that can't even begin to get a complete answer. You've got to know where the chords are going, where they are, and where they're headed to. But then you've got to know the line that you're creating. Where is it starting in relation to that chord? Where is it going, and where is it sitting at now, and where are they both going in relation to each other? So context is everything. So hang on one sec. Anyway, all right. So anyway, where's my other window? You guys are quiet tonight. Nobody's even saying hello in the chat. I'm feeling lonely. Julie says hi, but I'm lonely now. She couldn't be with us tonight. But where are you guys, chiming in from? I'm in North Carolina. And if anyone's wondering, my low calf life is going quite well. I had a little mishap the other day, yesterday. We went to my wife and I went to a local coffee shop that we don't go to that often, and they had no decaf options. I went to a coffee shop to get not coffee. That's my mistake. But I thought, I've been pretty good for a week and a half now. Let's just get it iced, a cold brew, not a nitro, nothing weird, just a iced coffee with a little cream in it. And boy, that was intense. So intense, I got the jitters. I hadn't gotten coffee jitters in 40 years. So yeah, you can get very sensitive to the effects of caffeine, not just in coffee, but in anything. Energy drinks, no sugar-free energy drinks, all of this. There's caffeine in a lot of things, and it'll creep up, just like carbohydrates can creep in. Anyway, so hello, Janet. How are you? You're not the target of most keto carnivore influencers. Yeah, well, you understand that, okay, they're talking to, and I know Dr. Barry, Dr. Silas, Dr. Philip Ovadia, they all talk about the bell curve, the normal distribution curve, and 70 years old, you're maybe outside of the curve, not off the chart, but you're not in that target audience, so you understand. You don't have to, you're going to take everything not with a grain of salt, but you're going to be applying it, seeing it through the lens. That's the whole thing. See it through the lens of where I am in my life and in my health, and just kind of run your own personal filter through it. There's my lovely wife in the chat. I missed her. I'm glad she chatted with us. But so, and I heard who was Coach Bronson this morning did a live, him and Coach Nat, and talked about they wrapped up with this very thing. The context is going to be, it's vital, and I guess I'm going to be talking about that a whole lot more moving forward, because you can't just say, well, I heard this today, and I heard this from this guy tomorrow, and I heard this from this guy the other day, but then it contradicted with what he said 3 weeks ago. You've got to run it through the lens, through the filter of where am I on my health journey. And that goes with nutrition, that goes with exercise and activity, that goes with your mindset, your attitude, that goes with sleep and rest. You've got to see things. I could talk about the benefits of mindfulness and ritual meditation. How can I talk about that? I do that. Before anyone else is in the house is even awake, I'm reading, praying, doing some meditation, getting my mind focused and zeroed in. And I can tell you that, you can get lost. When you get into that, Zen place or whatever, where you lose track of time because you're focused and you're just zeroed in that present moment. It's a very cool feeling, by the way. And it could be 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes. And you're like, oh my God, my alarm just went off. But if you've never done that, then that's just going to seem too far out. You go to the gym and they say, oh well, we need you to bench press, 250 pounds. Well, if you hadn't set foot in a gym in 10 years, that's an unrealistic goal. It could be accurate. So bench pressing 250 pounds, 3 sets of 10 reps each, let's say, there's benefit, scientifically proven benefit to that. And that's accurate. But that doesn't mean that that applies to you right now. Follow me? The same thing with your diet, and this is where I see a lot of people. They think if they're not full-blown strict carnivore or lion, that they're doing something wrong, and that is absolutely not the case. It all falls under that umbrella of a ketogenic diet, and the trends right now, if you will, are go carnivore, just eat meat, just eat meat. Are there benefits to that? Yes, there are. Are there benefits to eating just ruminant meat? Yes, there is. Is there a benefit to the lion diet? Just beef, salt, and water? Yeah, and there's studies and more studies coming out to prove that out. But if you've been eating a standard American, standard Western diet for the last 50 years, and now you want to go cold turkey, strict carnivore over the weekend, that's an unrealistic goal. Not only will your gut let you know, but it's just you can't. It's too big of a lift for your habits, for your gut, for your palate, just your whole endocrine system. Your hormones and all the hormetic balance is going to be out the window, and you're going to be a bit of a mess if you just go cold turkey like that. That's where context falls into play. Oh, we got someone from Canada. I just saw that. Hello, Beverly. So yeah, the context plays into that, immensely, because some people can do that. I will say, if someone's been kind of low carb in it for a little while, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they say, I just want to jump into it, they may experience some of those same symptoms. Who knows? But they may have a little bit better shot at it because they're a little bit closer to that goal than someone else who hadn't even thought about it. Follow me? So that's where I encourage people, if they've never done that. Now if someone's re-engaging, you took a sabbatical off of a low carb diet or whatever, or the holidays got me, or vacation got me. I get it, and we can work on some strategies on how to not let a holiday or a vacation get you. Just reach out to us, phdsynergy.com, and we can talk about maybe hooking up and discussing some of that stuff. But for people that are brand new, a beginner, just looking, I heard about this keto thing. I know there's a difference between tabloid keto and actual keto, ketogenic diet. And there's a science behind it, but how do I get started? I've heard the top 5 things to do, but how do I get started with that? And I always encourage people in that scenario, you want to ease into it. You might not even start with a true ketogenic diet, which is under 50 grams of carbs a day. You might start more in the paleo or low carb arena. 150 carbs a day, maybe 100 carbs a day. But and you can start there for 3-4 weeks, 2 months, get acclimated to that, and then you stair step it. Then you go from say paleo to low carb. Then from low carb, after a few weeks, then you can go to a true ketogenic diet. That's kind of a jump to go from 100 down to 50. Then you can do that for I'd say give it a good 90 days, a good 3 months, to let your body start to adjust. And and for some people, that might be all that you need. Your body might say, I'm good here. It's not a weight loss diet, it's a weight optimization diet. Some people need to gain weight. Some people need to lose weight. Some people just need hormetic balance. But it's some people that can happen on just a regular keto diet, and there is 100% nothing wrong with that. So it's not like you have to graduate to the levels, and once I reach carnivore, then I've arrived and I'll get a diploma and I can hang it on my wall. That's not the case. If your body responds and it gets that optimization and it's a well-oiled machine on a keto diet, God bless. Stay there and do what you need to do. But if your body needs a little bit more, then you can go from keto at 50, you can go to ketovore, which is 15 to 20 grams of total carbs a day. So that requires a little bit more discipline, a little bit more thoughtfulness in your menu planning, your food buying, your your eating windows and strategizing that. So again, a little bit more, thought has to go into that. And then for some people, they may just hang out at ketovore and just be tracking and just be good with that. Some people that if they've got conditions that they're trying to overcome, they may need to go to a carnivore diet, which is as close to zero as you can get of meat and meat, meat and water. Some carnivores. It depends who you ask. Some are going to say that it's only ruminant meat. Some people will say, oh, it's it can be chicken and fish and all that. The only thing that's so specific is going to be a lion diet, which is beef, salt, and water, or ruminant meat, salt and water. And I'm not going to ever let dogma get in the way of, if you're doing a carnivore diet, I'm happy for you. Do it. And here's the other thing. Whether you're on a keto, low carb, keto, ketovore, carnivore, wherever you are, let's say keto does the trick for you, and you just track with that for the next, year, 2 years, 3 years, which could happen for a season. But then maybe something, we all age, things change, environments change, and so you may need to modify some things. Your body can kind of get used to some things and whatever, and you might need to mix it up a little bit, and you could do a little kickstart with a triple B&E with beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, which is kind of an elimination diet where you could it's kind of a carnivore-ish diet. Do that for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, just to kind of shake things up a little bit and get your body responds to stresses, whether they are physical stresses, mental stresses, food stresses, hormone stresses. Mixing it up can, just keep things lively and keep things moving, because your body does everything it can do to balance itself out. But if you say, all right, well, things are good, but I still got another 10 pounds to lose, 15 pounds to lose, and I've kind of been hanging out here. Now, stall, that's when you haven't, the scale hasn't moved, your metabolic markers haven't moved in, say, 6 months to a year. That's a stall, not 3 weeks. So let's say that you've kind of been hanging out for the last year, but you still got that extra 10, 15 pounds that you want to lose. Then, that's where you could do an elimination diet. You can do something to just keep things moving, because your body's leveled out and says, okay, I got this. I figured this out. I know how to adjust the hormones and the things up and down to keep me where we're at right now, because we're in a good place. I'm happy. Your body's saying I'm happy. But you're like, I really want to do a little bit more. So, and then you can look up what Jason Fung, Dr. Jason Fung calls your body, your body thermostat, body weight thermostat, which means it's not based on the scale, or it's based on hormones, and you got to pull that thermostat down. And read his book, The Obesity Code. And I think even lately he's gotten a few more videos out discussing that body weight thermostat. Very interesting, and he's got all the studies to back it up. Worth checking out if you're into that stuff and nerding out. But real quick, let me just tell you, we want to talk about beginners or people that are re-engaging. And if you're re-engaging, you can always go back to the basics. You can never hear the basics enough. 5 things to get started on a ketogenic diet. Wherever that falls under that umbrella, whether it's carnivore, ketovore, keto, low carb, start here. Remove all the sugars out of anything that you eat or drink. Any added sugars, get rid of them. I personally would even go so far as to say, if you can do it, get rid of artificial sweeteners as well. Sugar, glucose does certain things in your body, and one of outside of just raising your insulin, that's for another day. So sugar will spike your insulin. So will a lot of the artificial sweeteners. So just be aware of that. So I would say remove all sugars for sure. If you can tolerate getting rid of the artificial sweeteners, I would do that too, just as a kind of preemptive move. Remove all grains from your diet. Even whole grains? Yes, even whole grains. Because guess what? They all break down into glucose. Glucose spikes your blood sugar, spikes your insulin. Insulin is the soccer mom of the hormones. It does so many things, but one of the things it does is it's the gatekeeper to your cells, to keep it simple. And when your cells are full, it's like stuff comes through the bloodstream and they say, "Hey, cell, let me in." Nope, you're not allowed in here. We're full. Sorry, insulin, you got to go elsewhere. So remove all sugars, remove all the grains, remove all the vegetable oils and seed oils out of your diet. They're highly inflammatory, and especially like canola oil. It's an engine lubricant. So they tried to market it as a healthy fat to cook with. It's not. A simple YouTube search or a Google search you'll find all the information that you never knew that you never needed for that. You'll never look at canola oil the same way again. Remove all that stuff from your diet. Here's what you can use to cook with. Bacon grease. We have the little container, sits right there, right at the stove. Bacon grease. It's great, and it doesn't go rancid. It's wonderful. It's delicious. The other thing is going to be in certain situations, you'll want maybe use some extra virgin olive oil. We love avocado oil, and you can also use some coconut oil. And just be mindful of the heat tolerances on each of those. Sometimes they got a lower smoke point than you'd want, so be mindful of the batteries in the smoke detector. So remove the sugars, remove the grains, remove the seed oils. Next thing you want to do, number 4, take about half, if this is for keto specifically, make sure half of your plate or more is fatty red meat. Or I could say fatty meat, but fatty red meat, fatty ruminant meat is going to be the best thing for your body. There's so much, so nutrient dense in red meat, all the vitamins, minerals, everything that your body has been craving your entire life. The thing that has kept us alive as a species for 2.5 million years. So if you're looking for a place to start, just take half your plate and make half your plate fatty red meat. And you want the fat. Don't get the lean cuts, get the fattier cuts, because you need the amino acids in the protein, but you also need the fatty acids from the fat too, because they can be used as fuel as you begin your journey into ketosis, which we'll get into that some other time. Hello, Sandra from Panama City Beach. And the last thing, number 5, go outside and play. Be more active than you currently are. Again, that doesn't mean if you haven't set foot in a gym in 10 years that now you're going to become a gym rat musclehead. We're not asking you to do that. No one would expect that. But what we are saying is this is tying it all back to context. Wherever you've been is where you've been. Focus on where you are now, and can you do 1% more today than you did yesterday? Tomorrow, can you do 1% more than you did today? We have a saying in our home that success comes 1% at a time. And I don't do a whole lot of sports ball, but I will tell you a football analogy. You can score a point. You don't have to throw a Hail Mary, right before the whistle blows. All you got to do is get 3 yards every down, and you'll keep you will score. Get 3 yards every down, and you score. It's that simple. So what does that mean? The context is take where you are and keep moving forward and just be better. You're not competing with anybody else, and all you want to do is be better today than you were yesterday, in your diet, in what you eat, in your sleep habits, in your activity habits, and your rest habits, in your mental habits. I've talked a lot about self-talk and that inner monologue that we all have, and the culture here in this country is pretty self-deprecating, and it's either self-deprecating or completely egocentric and selfish and self-centered, and both of those extremes are unhealthy. But your self-talk, there's a book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. I highly recommend everybody read that. You say, well, what's that got to do with nutrition and keto and all that? Nothing and everything, because, like I was telling this client, it's everything is going to rise and fall on your mindset. When you get your mindset right, including that inner monologue, all those other 5 steps are going to fall into place, because you're going to know what you're trying to accomplish, how to accomplish it, how to get help and resources to accomplish it. And you're going to know that, we talked about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So we've got a video on SMART goals. Make a SMART goal, have the right mindset, set your sights, set your attitude with your inner monologue on where you're going. Take all these resources, run them through the filter of my health journey, my personal health journey, and then apply those each and every day into your life and be 1% better than you were yesterday. Does that make sense? I hope so. Made sense in my head. Anyway, so with that, we want to respect people's times. We're at almost 8:30. Any parting shots, questions, comments, answers? And a hush falls over the crowd. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to sign off for the evening. Yeah, check out some other videos. We're starting to get a handful of videos on just our channel, but there's also a bunch in the Dr. Barry's community if you're a part of that. And also, we do one-on-one coaching if someone needs some extra attention to help get things in place, whether it's nutrition, exercise, and routines. Not so much fitness plans, but how to incorporate more activity into your life. The mental mindfulness side. I'm a mindfulness coach as well. How do you implement all this stuff? Reach out to us at phdsynergy.com. Schedule a call. We'll talk. We'll see if maybe there's something where we can help you on a one-on-one basis. But anyway, with that, we're going to sign off for the evening, and we